Hello, I'm going to be doing some repotting today. These are all cactus plants which I've purchased a few weeks back now, and they're on my list that need repotting, especially the Astrophytum myrostigma and Astrophytum capricorn. They're literally begging to be repotted and not even sat in the pots very well either. And this one here, it's just awful. They need sorting out. These two here need desperately separating. Just need a little bit more room. They're a little bit puckered because they haven't had a lot of water. And this one here, very, very, very spiky, and these spines are ferocious. There looks to be 4 different clumps in there, so I'm going to leave it as it is and get potting up. I'm going to start with this cactus, and the potting mix that I'm using today is a combination of cocoa coir, tiny bit of sharp sand, molar clay granules, activated charcoal granules, a sprinkle of bone meal, and also some mixed bird grit, which does contain shells in it, so it's got the limestone and calcium in there. And there might be the odd bit of perlite granule because there was a little bit sprinkled into my cocoa coir, but that doesn't matter. So this is half of the molar clay to half cocoa coir at the moment. I always make up my potting mix on a small batch because depending on what plants I'm doing, I'll alter the ratios. This is the mixed bird grit, and I've always used this in my potting mix, and it does have a little tiny pieces of shell in there as well. You can't really see it there. One just there. See the lines on it? This isn't the usual brand that I get, but it was a cheaper one, so I picked this one up instead because I'd ran out from my other one. So this is only a small quantity, so it's the same amount that I add as my sand, so it's about 1/8 of the size of the pot. Okay, so that's the mix there. I don't often wear gloves, but this one really does need a glove because it's so prickly. Just put my other glove on. It's rock solid and bone dry, so we're going to have to rake this through. This won't grow very well if you just leave it like this because the roots are so solid. When I gave it a water the first time, hardly any water was penetrating it, so you've got to free up these roots and always take it out of this mix that it's in the shop. I don't think they really intend you to leave it in this potting mix. It just suits them for when it's growing in the nursery from a young age. But by the time these sort of size cactus reach the shop, they're usually about 3 to 4 years old, so they're ready to be put into a better soil mix by that time. And that's the ones that are in sort of like a 5 centimetre pot. They're usually about 3 or 4 years old by the time they're delivered to the shop. Okay, so I've not noticed any mealybugs in here, so that's good for once, considering quite a lot of the ones I get from B&Q tend to have quite a lot of mealybugs on them. Okay, so that's all the roots done. I'm not going to wash them off with any water because I don't want them to get wet. Okay, this is the pot I'm going to be using. It's a 10cm diameter pot because I want to allow for the spread of the cactus plant. So if you've never potted a cactus before, always put some soil into the bottom of the pot first for the roots to sit on top of, like a little cushion. And remember the height of the cactus. Try not to put your soil up too high when you've finished potting. You'll see as I show you. So you sort of put it in there and get the base of the roots level with the rim of the pot. And then check a little bit more, otherwise it'll sit too low. So that's about 1/3 of the pot I filled up there, but it's all dependent on the size of the root. Okay, so that's sitting nicely now. The roots are nesting on top of the potting mix. Okay, and then you need to hold it and then go all the way around, filling it in with the soil, and then you just literally hold it where you want it and then infill with your potting mix. And give it a little tap to get rid of the air pockets and the gaps. And then if it's sitting a bit low, when you finish potting it up, a trick that I do is to pull up the roots, just tap the soil, and it creates the cactus to sit in a higher position in the pot. Okay, so that's that one done. Okay, so you can see how I've got the soil level with the rim inside the pot. And then if you want to add a top dressing, you can. So then that will accommodate the top dressing of gravel or stones of your choice. I'm not going to top dress mine, I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to separate these two and put each one into a 5cm pot. So like before, just go in and rake off the soil mix. And because I want to separate these, I'm just going to try and give them a little tug now. They're still a little bit tight, so I'm going to keep raking away. Okay, so I'm keeping going through this central area because that's where I need to split it. And then they just come away. So now I've got two individual cactuses with their own roots. So now they'll probably have a better chance of surviving. Got my two 5cm pots. I filled them about halfway with my mix, and as before, you sit it so the roots are just touching the soil mix, hold it in position and fill it in, and then do that with the other one. I'll do the others and I'll show you what they look like when they're finished. Now I thought I'd show you this one. This is the Astrophytum Capricorn. And as you can see there on the root ball, you can see these fluffy things attached to the roots. Now that is probably mealybug or spider eggs. Sometimes you get spiders that can lay eggs in the soil, and they're not really a cause of concern, but I'm going to make sure I keep this away from my other plants while I'm scraping the soil off. Now I've taken the majority of the soil away, and there doesn't appear to be any problems further up the roots, so I think that what was there was dead, so dry. So now it's a matter of taking these apart. You can see they sort of give a little bit, but I'm going to keep scraping away because I don't want to break the root off at the base. Okay, so I've scraped some more soil away now. So there we are. So thankfully the roots have stayed intact and they should do a hell of a lot better on their own now. And you can see they're quite different in terms of how much speckling they've got. So it just shows you how variable they are. These two astrophytums are going to need a more coarser, more free draining potting mix. So I'm going to add some more material just to pot these ones up. So I'm going to add expanded clay pebbles, which I've crushed, added into the mixture I've already got. So here they are, I've just crushed them. Small enough so that they'll fit into the 5cm pots easily. So this will give them the drainage they need, but the finer soil mix mixed in with it will give it something for the roots to anchor onto. In the soil I'm going to be sprinkling Ceylon cinnamon powder just to help the roots. I won't be watering them for a while until the roots have had a chance to heal. So I'm just going to put that where I'm sitting the roots. This is an extra measure to help it not rot or get rid of any bacteria there. So then I'll sit this plant on and then fill it in. Okay, so that's the first one, and I've added extra mixed grit onto the top to help prevent the base where it meets the roots from rotting. That's both of them now, and they look better already just being in different pots. Last one to do is the Astrophytum myriostigma. This will be the same process that I did with the other ones, and pot them up into 5cm pots. I'm just going to keep going through the central area again to release the roots from each other. There we go. So hopefully not too much damage done. Cute.